Imagine the Republicans retake the Senate. What's the first bill you would sponsor?
Well, I think that I guess the first thing I would do, I'm not sure it would be in the form of a bill, but I would tell my colleagues and I would ask them to ask themselves with respect to every piece of legislation before they do anything else is whether or not they have authority to do it. I think what we've got now in the federal government is a sort of whatever it takes philosophy. If we have a problem and we think we've got a way to solve it from the federal level, let's do it, without regard to whether or not we have the constitutional authority to do it.
Would you be in favor of a bill that mandated that for every subsequent bill?
Sure. I think if it's sort of like a odd parallel, I suppose, but it's kind of like an environmental impact statement, which asks, is there an environmental impact of this? We ought to have a constitutionality statement. Do we believe, and what's the basis for the constitutional source of this authority? So I think that would I think restore confidence of American people in the way that the federal government operates. Because today, I've certainly found, talking to people all over the state, that there's a very low level of confidence in Congress, partly because they believe that Congress is sort of out of control.
Now, let's see. The devil's advocate argument to that would be, if there's a problem and Congress can fix it, shouldn't that be more important than checking with the Constitution first?
I would say no. I understand that philosophy, and I think that's a philosophy that is what drives things today. But I think what's the most important thing in the American Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, is protection of individual freedom. And I think the way that happens is by strict adherence to the constitutional structure and strictures that are there, that they are there to define the way government functions and to make government cumbersome in a way. I mean, there's often much complaint in this country about the fact that it takes forever to enact a piece of legislation, and some people even argue for going down the path of the parliamentary system, where party leadership pretty much does what it wants. But I think one of the great accomplishments of the American Constitution is it's difficult for government to act, and I think we've drifted a little bit away from that.
I know I pine for the days of gridlock.
Yes, no, I think there are certainly big problems in this country, but I think the federal government is the only way to solve them. Many of them can be solved by state and local governments, better solved by state and local governments, and many of them can be solved privately if the government gets out of the way.